Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Alan Schnurr with the Commercial Real Estate Academy Investment Club. This is our weekly time together, so welcome, and I appreciate you being here, and I'm happy to be here because I love what I do, and I'm really excited to share with everybody about some of the deals that I'm working on and what's up and coming and closing. We'll get to that in a second. My partner in crime, Dave, is in Oregon fishing. A little cold, but he's fishing. It's something about steel trout, or I don't get it. I like to ski. He likes to fish. That's a good partnership, right? So here we are. We're on this webinar together, and we're here because you love real estate as much as I love real estate, and we're going to be talking about what you can do to better set yourself up in 2015 to get some of this real estate, hopefully apartments, because that's what I absolutely love, and that's where I'm quite frankly seeing the money right now. I want to remind everybody we're live, so if you'd like, you can kind of jump on your screen there and send me some questions if you want to send some over. And Dave doesn't let me do this when I'm with him because he's always so careful. I would be more than happy to share my phone number with everybody, so you can come on over and start texting me at 713-503-5908. So I will try to get to questions today. We got a lot to cover. 713-503-5908. So let's see. Here we are. It's the beginning of the new year, and I know everyone is kind of really excited about your goals, right? And I hope you are, and I hope you did it, because you're listening to someone I talk to in real estate that aren't sure exactly about how much they want to make and what do they want to own. So for me, I picked a number. I know exactly. I didn't do a 12-month goal setting. I set my goal to, I want to accomplish my goal by June 1st. So that's what I wrote down. First, I have a number. I'm not going to tell you that number, but so I have one number, all right? This is how much money I want to have in the bank by June 1st. Second step is, I guess I kind of said that backwards, but the first step basically is how much money you want to have in the bank. The second step is by when, right? So that's your second step. Choose a date, because that's a problem with goal setting too. People don't commit, they don't own up to it, and if there's no date, how do you measure it, right? We have to be able to measure our goals. Pick a number, choose a date, and what are you going to do in return for that service? What are you going to do to get it done? All right. So for me, I'm going to be buying and selling apartment buildings. So that's the third step. And the fourth step is to create a plan, and really a simple plan so you can kind of memorize it. And then the fifth step is to write down that plan. And the sixth step is to look at it first thing. First thing. A lot of you in the morning spend way too much time on your cell phones. I see it all the time. What is that really doing for you? First thing in the morning, pick up that one sheet of paper that you wrote steps on and repeat that goal in the morning. See yourself doing it. Visualization. I know you all know about that. And also what I like to do is look at it before I go to bed. I'm telling you, there's something with our brains, our heads, and the subconscious that I don't know how it works, and I don't want to waste time reading about it. Go out to California. No, I won't say that to all my California friends. But let me just tell you something. It does work 24/7. So if you tell yourself in the morning what you want to accomplish, and you tell yourself before you go to bed what you want to accomplish, I believe it's going to happen. It's happened for me, and it continues to happen for me, and I want it to happen for you. And I apply those 6 steps, my real estate career here, which has helped me accumulate almost 2,000 apartment units, bought over 100 houses, and between 5,000 and 6,000 apartment units. Some of our customers are buying and selling, so it's hard to count, but we're plenty busy, plenty. So I just wanted to share I wanted to share that with everybody. You know, it's kind of, you don't need to go away for a goal setting retreat. All you need is 5 minutes with me and we're done. Bang, New York minute. That's what I like. So what's happening this week? Boy, I'll tell you what, Dow Jones is up, down, up, down. Now it's come off a few hundred points in the last few days. And what does that mean for the 10-year Treasury bill, which affects how we borrow money? We've seen now the Treasury bill close below 2%. We really haven't seen that in a very, very long time. And what does that mean for us if you follow the show? That means basically when you talk to bankers, they're going to want to charge you 2 to 3 points above what they can borrow the 1.9. So it's really possible right now to be getting 3.5% money. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Could you imagine? Get involved with what we're doing. We're all building portfolios. I believe in creating, you know, not just stopping at one apartment complex, but, you know, buy as many as you can handle. And we believe, we have the books, we have the tapes, we have the seminar. I want to, you know, give you the tools. I was actually going over one of my old books that I used to love reading by really just breaks down to other people and make them really easy so you can duplicate. And that's what we believe in doing here at the club, especially with housing and apartment buildings. We're not really trying to recreate the wheel here. We're just trying to say, hey, look, let us show you how to buy apartment buildings, and let us show you how to run them. Let us show you how to cash flow them, and, you know, either sit back, be active, and create passive income for yourself. So I was thinking about it this morning when I woke up, and what I was going to talk about today, because Dave's not here, and usually he hogs. So I was thinking when I was getting up this morning, and so remember the days, what it was like when I had to get up out of bed to go make money, compared to the days where I don't have to get up out of bed to go make money. And let me tell you what the real difference is, because when I don't have to get up and make money, I'm not a slave to money, right? Money's a slave to me. But if I got to wake up and make money, then I'm a slave to it. And I don't want to offend anybody, but if you're listening and you're trying to make some changes, then I just want to make you aware of what's happening and how we can help make these changes. So that's really it. Dave and I are kind of getting ready to buy a 78-house community right now in Houston. It's been a little tricky because we've seen the price of oil go from $100 to $50 a barrel. So bankers are getting a little skittish here in town. We think we might have found one, so we'll keep everybody posted, but we are scheduled to close that one in less than a few weeks. So if my sellers listening right now, don't you worry. Don't you worry. We are committed financially. We have a $50,000 down payment that we will not receive back. And sometimes that's what you have to do to lock up in contract, as we've discussed before on the show. So that'll be pretty exciting. Imagine 78-house community. Love to share that case study with everybody. By the way, our case study is coming up on Thursday the 22nd. So we'll be talking about apartment buildings. I was going to call over to one of my friends who owns a few storage businesses to see if he wanted to chat with the group. And again, I know some of the students have deals. They're looking for partners, and they just want to get up and talk about what they're doing. And there'll be some bankers in the room and some brokers in the room. So come on out for some food and for some drink, and love to meet you. Again, that's Thursday night. And it really also comes back down to the silver membership. You can sign up for the silver membership. It's $97 a month. It gives you access to these kind of videos. If you were with us last week, we were up on a we just paid for a $150,000 roof on one of our new 152 unit buildings. So it's really interesting stuff, because we did a seminar. We had the contractor here, but you need to be a member to actually see all the videos that we made that day. So educational. I'm telling you, when I first started in this business, it was almost common to hire a maintenance person that would have a bucket of black tar and a torch and some kind of roll. And that's it. After what I saw last week, some of my students saw last week, never again. I'm going to be laying down this special white thin membrane roofing from here on out. It was very educational, and it's actually cheaper now than tar and roll and torching. So become a silver member, okay? Awesome stuff, hundreds of videos, lots of courses, and lots of weekends with us, learning everything you ever wanted to know about real estate. So I wanted to share with everybody today, because I'm seeing a lot of emails come across. It's a new year. Alan, can you start talking about how we can really get involved? And I find that people get stuck really quick. They mean well. They might even wake up and feel motivated, ready to go. But then what? But then what? Exactly, right? So nothing happens. So I thought I'd put together a few steps on maybe how I can help you get more involved in the apartment business. And I thought back to what it was like when I bought my first apartment building. It was a little scary. I was comfortable with single family houses, but I didn't always do single family houses. So, at the end of the day, I look back, there was no difference than the feeling of buying my first house than buying my first apartment building. So I think when it comes to buying apartment complexes, I think how I can help you get unstuck right now is to help you make a decision. And the first decision you need to make when it comes to buying apartment buildings is, what size would you feel comfortable with? What size apartment building? Because I know it can seem very intimidating, but once you kind of wrap your hands around it and you get a really good understanding about it, it's really not so intimidating, and it's different than buying maybe your first car, or buying your first house, or buying your first apartment building. So let's talk about the size of apartment buildings and shapes and colors that they come in, right? So, I'm not a big quad buyer, fourplex buyer. I really would like to see my students kind of jump in. Maybe, if you really want to start small and you have some extra time in your hands, maybe you go with like a 12-unit building. One of the first smaller buildings we bought, Dave and I, was 34 units. And for us, that was small enough because at the end of the day, we had to split the profit by 2, right? So you got to take that into consideration. But so if you want to start with maybe a 12-unit deal, I just want to remind everybody, most likely you're going to be the one running the deal, because with 12 units, right, there's only so much money left over at the end of the day, so you almost become a property manager. What we see in mom and pop model, maybe you stick a mom and pop, like a retired older couple in one of the units, and you make a special deal with them. Maybe Pops is kind of the on hand be mom, the rent, and then maybe you get to drive over there once a month or twice a month, and that's how you run that business model. Even in a 34-unit building, we kind of had this. We did actually put a leasing agent in there, but we only put a leasing agent in there part-time, and we found a handyman to live there, so we worked out a special deal. So what I'm really trying to say here is there's a scale of economy that you have to get to, and we've found through our experience that it really to 52 to 76. I'll give you that. And between 52 units and 76 units, that size, it's still kind of relatively small. You can maybe go buy something for $1 million to $2 million in the market I'm in right now, in the C-class market. And I think that will afford you to have one maintenance person and one manager who acts as a leasing agent as well. So you'll have 2 employees. And we use that same model for 76 units. Now, when you start getting into like a 100-unit building, I'm seeing more of maybe, you know what, let's round up. Let's say 125 units. So let's jump from 76 to 125 units, because I'm going to say maybe you can afford to hire 3 people. And that's either going to be a manager that can be a leasing agent as well. Because here's the problem. I kind of found this out. I was surprised one day when I bought my first 76-unit building. I realized that I couldn't expect the manager to be there all the time. So, and I wanted to keep the place open 7 days or a week, or at least 6 days a week. So I actually found myself working in the leasing office when I owned my first 76-unit building. I just couldn't afford to hire 3 people. I could only have 2 people. So that's what I mean by maybe you want to go to a 125 unit complex, because that should help you afford to hire, like I said, either a leasing agent or is that when you start scaling up, when you start getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, well, then you can bring a property management company into the picture. And you then are truly the investor, which is where I hope you get to be, because that's how you really get to build a portfolio. I mean, that's where I spend most of my time. I spend most of my time. Matter of fact, as I'm sitting here, my office just dropped off. This is all profit and loss statements and balance sheets for November. All right, so they're lagging a little. So, and that's as the investor. If I'm out there trying to lease a unit or drive around property or make videos, no, I'm kidding. I don't get to look for the next best deal, because not only do I got to watch the stuff I own, I got to have I got to be looking my radar on for the next best deal to buy. All right, so we got caught up on size for a little bit. So I think that's how you get unstuck. You decide what size apartment complex do you want to buy. And then you have to decide, where do you want to invest? All right, do you want to invest in kind of like a blue-collar working neighborhood, because it's kind of, you know, 1970-ish, 1980-ish construction, you feel like you can get it at a good good price? Or do you not want to deal with that particular clientele and you want to buy something more new? So you have to decide. You know, we find the new stuff, obviously, in kind of the more happening part of town, and the old stuff and not so happening. So you got to decide where you want to buy it, what part of town, and who do you want to work with, right? Okay, so we talked about size. Now we talked about where do you want to buy it. And then in the third step, I think you got to decide what type of apartment complex do you want? And when I say what type, I want to talk about classes for a second. I think we're all familiar with it, but I'll go through it really quickly. A, B, C, or D, right? A, B, C, or D, which is, you know, your A stuff is kind of more, you know, new, probably built in the last few years. And then your B stuff is probably around 10 years old. Your C stuff is around 20 years old plus. And your D stuff is probably 25 to 35 years old plus. And your E stuff, let's stay away from the E stuff, okay? So, and along with those gradings, you also have price per square foot. And if you've been watching some of our videos, we, you know, really kind of, we like to break it down to price per square foot. So when I'm going through all these P&Ls and profit and loss statements, at the end of the day, we kind of figure out what are we making price per square, because sometimes that's how you buy and sell apartment complexes as well. So that's it. You got to decide who you want to work with, you know, A, B, C, or D. So that, and once you do that, I'd say it's once you made the decisions, okay, you decided what part of town, how big you want the complex to be, and who do you want to rent out to. I'd say now it's time to go look for your team. You don't have to go get your complete team, but when I say team to you, I'm talking about go find your broker, right? Go find maybe a title company, go find an attorney, go find an insurance company, and start formulating the plan, sharing your plans, getting it out there. Because before you know it, your team is going to bring you deals. I see it all the time. All right. Hey, I just want to remind everybody that if you want to become a silver member, click on the button. $7 a month. It's unbelievable the education you're going to have. I wish, ladies and gentlemen, I had all this stuff. It took me like 20 years to figure this out, and I have a feeling some of you crazies out there will go through this stuff in a matter of weeks. There's probably a few hundred hours worth of education material, road trips, what to do, how this works, great case studies. And again, we have our Thursday night coming up on the 22nd. And then we also have our weekend event coming up on the 24th and the 25th. And if you really want to get involved, send me a text and we'll share some of the coaching and mentoring programs that we have as well. All right, so back to our show. We talked about team, right? So now we're going to talk about marketing, because I think it's important. Because I hear a lot, oh, well, I don't have any money, but I also hear I can't find any deals. So somebody does the first 4 or 5 steps I just talked about, and they're like, I just can't find any deals. And it's really frustrating for me, because finding deals, I would agree that it has its challenges, but it's also, I think, quite easy. I found and purchased over 18 deals over the last few years, and I found myself turning deals away. So it's actually kind of cool, because when I'm sitting around with my students right now, we're sharing stuff with each other, and I don't have to turn anything away anymore. But I think it's very important when it comes to marketing. You got to put yourself out there. You need to start going to investment clubs. You need to come out to our club. It doesn't even matter if it's our club. I just want you to get out. I think things are going to start happening for you. You're going to start looking at things differently. You're going to start noticing rental properties. So I think getting out to investment clubs is important. I think, oh, by the way, so I think this is a good idea too. This is the book that everybody gets when you show up for the weekend event. This is my book. You can find it on Amazon. And because in this book, on page 227, I have this sample private lender script. Because I know a lot of people are shy and they don't know where to start. And for some, it's easy. For others, it's not. Like, honestly, if you would memorize a script. I used to be a stockbroker, believe it or not, right? Long time ago. And boy, I mean, really would make 1,000 phone calls a day. Really would. And it got to a point, obviously, where you just memorize your script. So, and once you memorize your script, not only is it so natural, but sometimes it's kind of robotic. It doesn't matter sometimes, as long as you just get it out. Somebody understands your point. So I'm just going to read to you this sample script that I have here. And again, this was written by me, for me. So I would suggest changing it up. So you any other investment capital that's not getting you 15% returns safely? Hi, how are government foreclosures, deals at auction, and deals in receivership being liquidated by judges? We purchase these apartment buildings at less than half of their market value. Sometimes we fix them, fill them up, or just operate them as is. This gives me a huge advantage over my competition. It allows me to decide if I want to buy, sell, or hold. I can offer the best product, best price, best value to my investors and to my tenants. Your money is secured by a mortgage. I pay X amount percentage interest plus a few extra points if I close the loan out early. All loans are closed by professionals with title insurance, proper documentation. I never borrow more than the property can. Would you be in a stage? on your money. I mean, just stuff like that is so valuable. Could you imagine? Really, if you're just, if you said that a few times a day to I'll say tens of people that you meet. I think you meet like 100 a day. You don't realize it. Are you kidding me? I can't even tell you how many people come up to me and won't leave me alone because I've been saying that for years. And honestly, it's not verbatim like that, but I just start talking about real estate and people see that passion. I mean, that's what people want. They want passion, right? They see passion. They want to learn how to make money. They want a return on their money. They're frightened. You can help somebody. You can truly help somebody. Maybe you can even teach them what I'm teaching you. But the point is, you got to come out of your head and you got to get real and you got to start marketing yourself. And that's what we're talking about. And by marketing yourself, not only does it help you raise money, but it also helps you find deals to brokers. The radiance, the confidence will radiate off of you, and they'll be looking to bring you deals. All right. So we talked about marketing, and I just shared with you a formula, how I raise money, and also how I find deals. And so analyzing deals too has kind of been a hurdle for people. And there's just no way I can take you through it right now, all of it. But let me just share with everybody in our course here. Okay, when you become a member of the club, this was just one of my $10,000 seminars that I put on. We actually have it in the member area right now for our diamonds, and it's around the 3 or 4 day seminar that I put on once that we recorded that just basically has everything you ever wanted to know about apartment complexes. Hanging out with me for a few weeks anyway, you're gonna hear everything about apartment complexes, but it's also nice having it in one binder and probably around 30 or 40 hours of video. But the reason why I really opened it up is because I just kind of wanted to talk to you about how do we analyze apartment complexes. And if you've been to any of our events over the last year, we have some quick formulas. And one of the quick formulas that I like to take is when we're talking about cap rates and NOI and debt service coverage ratio. I like to kind of do something really simple. Like any business, there's income, there's expenses, and there's profit. We have different names for that in the apartment business, but that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Income, expenses, profit. So I'd like to just take you through a quick example. Let's just say you're looking at someone's financials or you're on LoopNet and you've learned that this particular apartment complex, hang on, let me pull a calculator up, collects $30,000 a month in revenue. All right, so I'm going to put in $30,000, all right, $30,000 a month, and then I'm going to multiply that by 12 months. So now I know this particular property collects $360,000 a month in revenues. By the way, that's pretty cool because most small businesses in America do not collect that kind of revenue in 1 year. So that's just another example how fast you can scale into a large business if that's what you're looking for. Okay, back to the show. So $360,000 of revenue. And I just have this quick formula where I am in this part of the United States in C-class apartment complexes. We just say half of it's going to go to expenses, 50% of it. All right, so that's a general rule. So I'm going to divide by 2. And of course, I'm going to get $180,000 now in income. All right, so 50% went to expenses, $180,000 is left over. Now, a lot of people get confused on how to evaluate an apartment complex on a cap rate. And we'll talk about cap rates in a second, but I just want to take an example here. So we have $180,000 of revenue here left over after expenses. And this particular apartment complex is in an 8 cap market. All right, so I'm going to divide by 0.08, and the value of that building is $2.25 million. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. If you'd come out to some of our events and meet some of my students that own buildings, meet Dave, it's really that simple. I can just tell you, I've seen it in people. You're going to get this knowledge by being around us, by being around the club, and by reading our materials and listening to what our videos. And you're going to get to the point where you just know it all, and it's going to be up to you then. to just go find the property. And you're going to be the expert. That's our goal, to make you the expert. Okay, so financials, evaluation. I also wanted to talk negotiating when you find a deal that you like. Negotiation is a very important part of life, as we all know. And it's quite, honestly, everything is negotiable to me. I learned a long time ago. I don't want to give up my age here on video. But for some of you, you might remember Carleton Sheets. And Carleton Sheets was kind of like the granddaddy of infomercials and no money down buying houses, probably around 20 or 30 years ago. So Carleton Sheets had this saying: if you're not embarrassed about the offers that you're making, then you're paying too much. Think about it. So, all right, take that with a grain of salt, because obviously you don't want to tarnish your reputation and you want to get a deal done, but a lot of money is truly made on the buy side, so we really need you. You need to buy right. So negotiating the deal is really important. And sometimes I just share a quick tip or a secret with everybody. If you're really interested, I have a student right now who's very interested in a deal, and we just can't get the seller to come off their number. So we went into contract, we went into due diligence, we did the walk, and our goal was really to find some major capital items that need to be repaired. So we can go back to the seller and say, you didn't tell us about this. We didn't know that we're going to need a whole brand new roof. Or we didn't know that the boiler has a hole. So, and then we renegotiate again, and we negotiate and we renegotiate. So negotiation is really important. And you need to coach sometimes if you feel like you can't do that by yourself. I also have a call scheduled today at 3:45 with some of my diamonds. They just found out a particular property that they really like doesn't have the right COs, certificate of occupancies, and the city wants work done on that building before they're issued these COs. And it's really important because sometimes banks won't lend on buildings until all the paperwork is in line with their COs. So we're going to have a conversation with the broker and seller today about, what's it really going to cost to fix this problem, and then of course we're going to negotiate, right? Okay, and I'm going to do that with them, and that's what we do around here at Commercial Real Estate Club. All right, so we talked about due diligence would really kind of be next. All right, so it's time to get out there, look at your building, and I know a lot of you are doing this for the first time, but we have lots of checklists that we can share with you. So there's different stages of due diligence. And for now, we'll just talk about, maybe you just go on the property, you have your checklist, you're looking at the roof, you're looking at the wood rot or the hardy plank, and you're just kind of walking the property. And when you want to take it one step further, when you go into contract, you might have like maybe 21 days for due diligence, which basically means on day 20, you can get out of there with your money if it didn't work out and if you found too many items or too many surprises. But during that 20-day or 21-day period, you might want to bring some professionals on the property. You might want to bring a general contractor. You might want to bring a plumber. If you remember Robert, who we had on the show last week with State Contractors, that's part of his job. I think he said he spends 75% of his time going on due diligence tours with investors, right? He wants to receive the phone call if they get the contract, if they get the apartment complex. He wants to do the work, and he realizes that he has to give them an estimate. So it's okay. It was kind of cool to hear him say, it's okay to call the general contractor and get him out there, no cost to you, and get their opinion and let them bid on it. And that will help you create a budget, and that will also help you negotiate or renegotiate with the seller. Okay, so that's kind of your due diligence period. And then financial due diligence, where you'll be going through the leases, where you'll be working with lenders, you'll be kind of verifying the rent roll. And ladies and gentlemen, we teach all this stuff at the club. Can't tell you how passionate. I hope you can see it. It's kind of tough just sitting down. Usually I like to pace and jump around. But due diligence is important, and we can talk about it for days. But I just wanted to brush on it. that there's inspections in your due diligence that you got to take very seriously, and you got to get out there and get a little dirty. Some I walked a 162 unit complex last week, and after my due diligence period, I just left. I walked. I decided this wasn't the right property for me. It wasn't the direction that I wanted to take. But I'm definitely going to tell my Diamond students about it when I see them tomorrow, or I think Friday. So we talked about due diligence, and we also talked about renegotiating, because that's when you'd start renegotiating. If you did your due diligence, you found a few surprises, just be straight up. Look, Mr. Seller or Mr. Broker, I understand maybe we expected a few things to not be in line, but now I got to get a brand new roof. That's $200,000, or spend $50,000 on a boiler, or no one really told me about how bad the pavement really was, or the condition of the mailboxes. So it's just stuff like that. Have a conversation. Doesn't hurt to ask, right? Okay. So renegotiating a bit when you're looking for your first deal. And at this point in the game, when you have your first deal identified and you just went through that long checklist of items that we just talked about for the last 30 minutes, we're almost done. Stick with me. It could be a really good time now to start working more closely with your mortgage broker, whoever you're financing. And there's a few aspects to this. First of all, I just mentioned about helping you raise money by memorizing a script or your pitch, your 2, 3, 4, 5 minute stadium pitch, just ready to fire off every time you get that opportunity to market yourself. So we like to work with mortgage brokers lately. Dave and I built our career working with banks, but now we got so busy that we like 1 or 2 mortgage brokers. They can make literally 50 to 100 phone calls for each project that you bring them very quickly. So they can really scale up quick. So it's really well worth it. So mortgage brokers, and I also want to have money, because look at it this way. Look, you can probably get into a building with 25% down these days. So let's just say you want to buy a $1 million building. So now you got to raise $250,000. So 75% of it's going to come from a lender. I mean, you're 75% there. You're so close. You don't know how close you are. And all you have to do is get 25%. Memorize this script. Make it your own. Own it. 2, 3, 4 minutes a day. You'll captivate people. They'll want to hear more. I promise you, they're going to call you back. You realize how close you are? The money, everyone's always concerned about the money. The deals only get bigger and bigger and bigger. We'll talk more about that as well inside the club. Thursday night, January 22nd. And then on the 24th and 25th, we have our weekend event. And we also have this really special boot camp coming up. I truly believe it's the greatest apartment boot camp course in the United States. It's coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be telling you exactly when. But let me just remind everybody, because I'm very humble, that Dave and I have bought over 2,000 apartment units. We managed over 6,000 apartment units. We're helping people buy apartment units. We know what we're doing. We've written courses before, and we're making it better for you. If you're serious, we're serious, okay? So again, if you want to become a silver member, you get one step closer to getting to that boot camp, $97 a month. And let me start just wrapping this up now. And after we just talked about financing, now it's also time to get your management in order. You have to decide if you're going to be the manager, if that's what you want to do. Are you trying to retire yourself from your job? Or do you want to go hire a property management company first? Because you have to pick the right property management company. It's so vital to the success of the operation to have the right people in place. And those are things we can talk about as well. It could be it could be our management company, or it doesn't even matter to me. Or, I can recommend a half a dozen around me, and I can also show you how to qualify other property management companies if you're not here in Houston. So that's it. You got your management company. They're going to help you do your due diligence as well. They're going to make sure everything's on schedule for close. And then finally, all you got to do is close the deal and get the keys. That's it. Close the deal, get the keys. So I'll just go through my list quickly one more time to maybe help you re-jog your memory or remember what we're going through. And again, we'll talk more about this on Thursday night, December 22nd. And on the 24th and the 25th, we had this incredible real estate. It's like an evolution story about, you know, we get it. You might own a few houses, but you're stuck. I see it all the time. Some of my students right now, they own 5, 10, 15, 20 houses, and they keep telling me how they want to get involved in apartment buildings, but they can't seem to get their head out of the mess of the 20 houses. I can even help you. I can advise you on what to do with those 20 houses, because until you start scaling up, buying as much as possible, as fast as possible, you're going to be stuck in it. You're going to be the one putting your 2 feet down on the floor when you get out of bed in the morning. Money's going to be enslaving you instead of you enslaving it. And that's really that's where I want to see you get to. I really do. All right, so I'm just going to really kind of summarize this really quickly. I need everybody to get unstuck. All right, I want you to decide what size building you're going to buy. I want you to figure out where you're going to buy it. I want you to figure out what class, what type is it going to be. Team, start setting up your team. Marketing, right? Marketing, your pitch, okay? Working with brokers, online resources, start choosing properties, analyzing deals. I showed you a real quick way how to analyze deals, and I have lots more ways and stuff like this. All right? Offer, LOIs. I mean, I know guys that just wallpaper LOIs out there. Their day is not complete without sending 1 or 2 LOIs out there, right? I mean, I know guys that have 20, 30, 40, 50 LOIs working at the same time. They're not concerned. They don't think they're going to get picked. They don't think their letter of intents are going to be accepted most of the time, but a few will. And like they say, you got to be in it to win it. All right, so you got to always be making your offers and your LOIs. And once that happens, I want you to be working on your negotiating skills. After you're done negotiating, it's time to sign this thing up, lock it up, put it in contract. Once you're in contract, I want you to go through your due diligence. I want you to walk the property. I want you to bring the professionals out there. If you're one of my Diamond students, I'll go there with you. If you're not, that's okay. We have videos on this stuff, literally hours and hours of videos in the membership area of tours of me and Dave explaining what to do and what not to do, what makes money and what definitely doesn't make money, because I've done it all. All right, so due diligence, renegotiate if your due diligence period doesn't turn out the way you expected, and working financing, working with mortgage brokers. Money's cheap. Money is so cheap right now. So if you can get yourself a nice deal, you're going to get even a sweeter loan. And I mean, I can't even, it's going to set you up. It's going to set you up for a very long time. As long as you do the right things and you take care of that property is going to take care of you. That property is the golden goose that laid the golden egg. All right. And you got to pick the right management company. You absolutely have to pick the right management company, and we'll help you do that as well. And close the deal. You know, close the deal and go to the next. Close the deal and go to the next. If I wasn't closing an apartment complex deal every 90 days, I was in the worst mood. If I wasn't buying a house once or twice a month, I'm kind of excessive, but I got my goals, right? And that's how we started off this session. All right. Goal setting. All right. What's your number? When are you going to have it by? What are you going to do to get it? Make the plan, write it down, look at it every morning and every night. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I just want to remind everybody, Thursday night, December 22nd, it's awesome. If you haven't, our office building here, it's 55,000 square feet. Valuable conversation, great idea, and then we'll see you that weekend for the 2-day event where everything you ever wanted to learn about real estate, you're going to learn that weekend. And then if you want to take it one step further, we're here for you, and let's go find a building together. So I'll see everybody in the next video. Have a good day.